What's going on, guys? So today we are going to be working on the Subaru again, and today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gaskets. I went ahead and got a set of Field Pro gaskets. It's a whole set. It's enough to do the passenger and driver side. I don't know if we're going to be doing the driver side because I'm only getting a leak on the passenger side. So we already have the car up in the air. We're going to go ahead and change the oil while we're at it. It's due for an oil change, so I figured we'll drain the oil, do the gaskets, finish changing it when we're done. So we'll do a run through on how to do that. It is a good idea if you do own a Subaru to learn how to do this, just because it is a common problem with them, I believe. I've already replaced this passenger side once, so we're going to be doing it again. For sure, like I said, I do have the leak on the passenger side, and one thing you can check when you're driving is if you come to a stop, you start seeing smoke come out your hood scoop. It's a good idea you have to check that out, see what you got going on. I did when I got home. I popped the hood, and there was smoke coming up right here. Now I can check around the turbo, all the drain tubes and stuff like that, oil returns and things like that. And there's nothing leaking. I eventually did see that on the exhaust there was some oil residue after I had just drove it short distance, which didn't allow it to start burning yet on the exhaust because the exhaust didn't get quite hot enough. But that's the one symptom you'll see if you do have this valve cover leak. And it is common for that passenger side to go bad first. So we're going to start with that. We're going to do that side first. And to do that, we need to take out the air intake again, because just about anything you do on these cars, you got to take the intake off and the washer fluid reservoir out. So we'll start there. We'll get the oil drained out, and then we'll take the cover off and have at it. Alright, so we're just under the car, got the pan in place. We're going to take out this 17mm bolt right here. Sorry. This 17mm bolt to drain the oil. Then we got our oil filter right there. We'll take that off as well. Now we got that drained. We still got to take the filter out, but we'll get that later. We're going to take the intake off. What? After we get the airbox and all that out. I'll kind of show you where the bolts are. It's pretty simple. There's, I think, 6... maybe 8 bolts. I can't remember the exact number, but we'll take those all out, get the cover off, and start cleaning the surface. What? 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 What?
Listen up, there's not a moment to spare. It's quite a drop from the top, so how you feeling down there? It's a cold, cruel, harsh reality. Caught, stuck here with your enemies. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all apart. Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. But enemies, enemies. You started something that you just couldn't stop. You turned the ones that you love into the angriest mob. And the one last wish is that you pay for it, and there's no way you're getting out of this. Who do you think you are? Tearing us all.
Okay, so I have the airbox out, intakes and all that. What we're getting to are the bolts on this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them to take this whole cover off right here. Not to mention we're going to be replacing this vent gasket. Also we got to take the coil packs out and all that. Now I didn't do a run through on how to take the intake off. I do have a video out on how I installed the FS intake on here from Cobb. The factory box one is very similar to that as far as where the bolts are. And I take that box out in that video, so if you want to see kind of more detailed how to do that, just skip over to that video, check that out, and it should be able to help you. Okay, so the symptoms I was kind of talking about, I'm going to try to zoom in on it. Try to get this to focus. But you see how all that's sitting on that exhaust down there? That's actually oil dripping out of this gasket, or out of the cover. And that's what happens. And like I said, what happens is you'll be driving and you'll start seeing smoke come out of the hood scoop. And then if you pop the hood to look, it's just coming up through there. You can't even see where it's coming from, the cause of it, but you get it when the car's a little cooler. You can, like I said, look down in there and see it. So anyways, we're gonna take the ignition coils off. Those two right there. Now they do have different plugs. A white one and a black one. It is the same on both sides. The white one goes in the front, the black one goes in the back. So whenever you're looking at the car from the side, the white's to the front and the black one's to the back. So we'll take those off, take out the 8 valve cover bolts and get it out of there. You got to wrestle it a little bit, but we'll get it out of there and then clean it up and get the new stuff on. Alright, so those bolts, by the way, are 10 millimeters, so you're going to want to use a short wall just for space issues. It just helps keep everything out of the way. It gives you a little bit more room to play with. Also, the coil pack bolts are 12 millimeter. You'll need that as well.
It's 20 to 1. Yes, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. But enemies, enemies, enemies. It's 20 to 1. Yes, so you better run. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You like the burden we bear. You love the hate that we share. You want more, but you get nothing from me. You got the world on its knees. You're taking all that you please. You want more.
Alright, so when you go to take this out and get it loose, once you get all your bolts out, you just got to pry on this edge a little bit, or what I do is I grab right here on this vent and just give it a little tug, and it usually comes loose. But yeah, we're replacing this gasket, these here. If you look down in there, it's actually still on. So we got to clean all that out. When you replace these, you use like a silicone base around the line, or around the gasket as well. So yeah, we got to clean all that old stuff off too. So now we'll get it, we'll clean it, peel all the old gaskets up, clean it all up, and then put it in. Real quick too, this is just the bolt pattern that's in there. So this is the top left when you're looking at it. It's just 3 down, 1, 2, and 3 more. When you tighten it, you do have to tighten it in a pattern, like a star pattern, to make sure it seals nice and even. So all I'm going to do now is clean this up. I got to get a table set up to do that. Alright, there we go. I did go ahead and lay this face down on the catch pan just to allow it to drain whatever residual oils was sitting in there. We'll use a little bit of brake cleaner just to clean up the surface. And here's where your new gasket's going to be setting. But we'll clean it up. We also got to take this piece off, clean the area there, and put the new gasket there as well. You do want to note when you take your gasket off, don't just trash it and throw it in the garbage. There are two. They are different, so make sure you get the same one. Make sure it lines up and does all that and fits in the right way. Otherwise, you may get them mixed up. I'm interested to see how well this stuff will do. It almost looks like corkboard, so we'll see. The nice thing is this is more of a vent. Yeah, there's going to be some pressure in there, but not as much. Well, I shouldn't say that. So, yeah, we'll put just a little dab of the silicone. Just a tiny little bit just to help, but I don't actually think it'll be necessary. But yeah, it's a kind of an odd looking gasket. I haven't seen one like that before. So I did go ahead, I didn't use the red gasket. It's an ultra black. Anyways, this has maximum oil resistance. Wasn't even paying attention. I noticed this was temperature resistant. but it didn't say it was oil. And being that you're going to be in contact with oil, you want to get something that's oil resistant. So that's why I went back and got this stuff. So there you go. Can't tell if you can see that, but put a little hole in it. Okay. So just so you can see, just a nice little thin bead, nothing crazy, just to help seal it. Should get 2 of these for each side. Those just place in. Just like that. To be honest, prepping this surface area is not that bad. You do, again, just want to make sure that you get everything out of there. But the gasket sits in the channel. It's the part that goes on the physical car. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Now, if you look at these are different. They have different tabs and things like that. And it looks like this is the one I need. There we go. Now, one other thing I'll show you is on the car, and we're gonna need a light. So, the last gasket set I got came with that little plastic crescent moon looking thing. So I replaced both of those last time. There's one there and one up top there. I replaced both of those last time, but this time it didn't come with those. This particular set didn't come with those, but the last set I got didn't come with this. Hang on. It didn't come with the vent seal, so or gasket. I didn't replace this gasket last time, but I replaced those. I don't know why different kits come with different pieces parts. It would probably be a good idea to go ahead and get all of that changed out, but being that those aren't that old, I'm not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do is go finish wiping down the surface of the car where this gasket's going to lay, Again, I'm not going to really show that. I'm just going to clean off what's there, get some brake cleaner on it, just clean off the surface area, put a little bead, just like I did on the top here, put a little bead all the way around. Now, you have to be really careful not to get it on the camshafts in there. You know, make sure you just keep it towards that outer edge and just a nice thin line, just so this comes down, presses on, and it'll help seal it. All right? Alright, so I got the valve cover sitting in place right now, and I thought I'd show you the torque pattern, at least the torque pattern I'm using. It's what I used last time as well. But basically you're going to start with the top center. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So go in that pattern and repeat it, you know, like 2 or 3 times. But like I said, you're going to start this top one in. I already on the car, I already got that one started. We're going to start that, get it snug, then get number 2 snug. And then we're going to just run all the other ones in the same order. And then once we get them all kind of snugged up, then we'll go through it 2 or 3 more times, just making sure everything's right where we want it. Because if you only go through one time, you're eventually, what's going to happen is that cover's going to shift just a little bit, probably on one side. And then you're going to run into a problem of it not sitting flush. So you do want to do it about 2 or 3 times on that same pattern, just to make sure everything's nice and snug. That way you don't have any leaks. So just because it's so difficult to get in there, you definitely want to take those couple extra minutes to make sure everything's straight and good to go. So that's where we're at. So I'm just going to go over there and tighten those up. I'll try to prop the camera up so you can at least see me doing something, but basically that's what I'll be doing for the next 20 minutes or so. Alright, if you don't know already, number 7 is Satan. That's that bottom one. That's the one closest to the turbo, downpipe, whatever, in that bottom corner. There's about this much room to get something on it, to tighten it. So, yeah, it's about the least amount of fun. Don't give up on it though. You got to get it snug. Like I said, you got to get these things even, otherwise you're going to have a leak. So, we'll get it, but it's Satan. It's the worst. It's just terrible. Now, to tighten Satan and a couple of these other ones, I've been using a short ratcheting wrench. Now, if you don't have a ratcheting wrench, period, I highly recommend you go get one. Just for the fact of how useful they are. Now, the set I bought came with normal length ones, but they also came with a couple stubby ones, which they've come in handy a lot on this particular car. So I recommend getting at least a ratcheting wrench. You can go to Harbor Freight, get a nice cheap set. This is Gear Wrench. I got it at Sears. The whole set cost me about $100. I waited till it went on sale though. They usually do a weekend sale on these things, so you're going to need something of that nature. A ratchet just doesn't fit there. I had plans, just because I had forgot from last time I did this, I had plans to actually torque all these to spec, but I mean seriously, I can't get a ratchet on that bolt. It just doesn't happen. So you got to squeeze your hands down in there, get a wrench on it, go that route. Like I said, you're going to want to get one of these. All done. One thing I should mention, because I just forgot to do it, that vent hose, make sure you have it all the way on before you mount the cover. Otherwise it's a pain in the butt to get it to seat all the way. So I got to fiddle with that, get that to come down. Other than that, we're going to throw our coils back in, top off our oil, and we'll be good to go. And there you go. That's how you replace your valve cover gaskets on your Subaru. Most of them are going to be pretty much the same. This particular one, like I said, it's going to be a 2003 WRX, but for the most part, for Subaru, it's going to be all the same. Like I said, only real tricks and tips is going to be really to have the right kind of tools. You have the right tools, you're going to make sure that you're able to get those bolts, get them tight, get them snug, get them square. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, take them off, clean the surface, put it back on. Other than that, please check out some other videos on the channel. I will have a couple new ones coming out here soon. We will be doing rally armor mud flaps once they come in. We'll also be doing a how-to on a Cobb double adjustable short throw shifter. It's actually a custom fit style, so I'll go over that. But yeah, check those out, like, subscribe, do all those cool things. If you guys have any questions on your car or want me to do something else to it just to see how you do it, I'm more than happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, check out the other videos, tell me what you think. See you guys later.